Welcome all, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Busy day. Live stream time. We are going to be chatting about the answer video to the question before. Just over 2 days ago, I posted a question for you guys to answer for hole 11 now. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 to go, depending on if anyone stretches out a long enough lead that we don't need all the holes. So, posted this, if I can get all the questions up. Let's get the full questions up first, and we can, I've got the chat going as well, as you can see there. So if you want to get involved in the chat, by all means, yeah, get involved, and we'll have a chat about bits and pieces. It's going to be on for about sort of 15 minutes or so. The video is not going to be on for too long. It is a live stream, of course, so it can go on for a little bit longer, should the chat section go a bit crazy. Right, so let's get straight on with the questiones that I popped on a live stream just over 2 days ago. Here we go. Right, so all shots are from the fairway at the bottom, as you can see there, right? So this is the questions. We'll do part one, part two. I'll tell you what, we'll do part one question and then sort of infill with the answer to part one, and then we'll go over to part two and do the exact same thing. Right, so question, the background on this one: a zero-handicap golfer is nearly 20 yards longer with an 8-iron over a 15-handicap golfer. So, okay, so the reason why I've chosen this is because the classic, when you look at comparing, try to compare apples to apples. What I mean by that is, if you have a zero-handicap golfer, scratch golfer, very good golfer, against a 15-handicap golfer, still a decent golfer. 15 handicaps a good, decent golfer. And even at that level, we're not talking about 25 handicaps or 30 handicaps or anything else like that. We are talking from 0 to 15. There is a difference in how far they hit the golf ball. So in essence, if you have a difference in how far you hit it, unfortunately there will be a handicap difference as a generic thing. So the longer you hit your irons, your driver, as a general rule, your handicap will be less if you had to do a generic, I'm going to be just a cast and a stereotypical thing over someone. And so we're saying, like, okay, 0 handicap, 15 handicap from 150 yards, let's just say 150 yards, how many times they hit the green, what their accuracy is and stuff like that. It's not fair, because a 15 handicap and a scratch golfer will be using completely different lofts, completely different golf clubs. So it's not fair, as in the case of, you're going to have, as soon as you've got more loft in your hand, you're going to be straighter. D plane says you will be straighter if you have more loft in your hands. That's just physics. So it's not fair. It's not fair against the 15 handicap. So what you have to do, you have to make apples for apples comparisons. So if you actually look at the data, I think there are 17 point something. I've got the data here. If I can pop the data on, let's just have a quick look on there. There you go. So this is the 8-iron, as you can see. Let's do the 8-iron, because I did say from there it was 8-iron distance. I said that in the question. I don't know how many times 8-iron, 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 and I even said it, as you can see, when it comes to the question. Zero handicap golfer is nearly 20 yards longer with an 8-iron over a 15 handicap golfer. So we are talking about 8-iron, 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 8-iron. So scratch golfer from an 8-iron, 149 to a 15 Indy gets 132. So you're taking their distances from 132 from a 15 handicap golfer, and from a scratch golfer we are going 149. So those are the two yardages that they're hitting into. At 149 yards, a scratch golfer hits the green 61% of the time, and a 15 index golfer hits the green 37% of the time from such a distance. And so you have a difference there of what, 24 or so percent. Let's go have a quick go there. What is, in part one, what is the difference in greens hit percentage between scratch to 15 handicap? Could be worse or better given the distance. Again, that's not me saying in the question. I didn't want to lead everyone thinking that automatically the scratch will be better. I just wanted everybody to have an open mind as to what the results were. And that's why I said in the question, if you could put your answer down and say which one you think is better, no worries. Basically, I think everyone said that scratch will be better anyway. And there was a couple who got the number bang on. So of course they have been researching frantically on Google to find the answer to that one out. So the answer to question one, part one, was 24%. Had a range of answers. And then, lucky, okay, if you look at the range of answers, again, there is this theme, and people really need to cut themselves some slack. There is this theme that people think they need to be better than they actually are. And when you look at the differences between a scratch golfer is a really good golfer against what a 15 handicapper is. Now, of course, every golfer is made up of different things, whether it be they're really good at their short game, driving, whatever it be. But as a generic general rule, people need to give themselves a break a little bit, have a bit more realistic expectations, and then not get so upset when they don't hit their own expectations, of which, if you actually put it down to real expectations, is actually spot on. So let's just do question 2. Let's go to the full-on question 2. If I can get rid of that, there we go. So question 2 was a spin-off of that. So obviously we got the data that we'll have a look in a second, but part 2 is this. What is the median proximity difference to the hole in feet between them? So I expanded on there. So obviously you've got the difference between the greens hit percentage for the 0 handicap, scratch handicap, and the 15. When they do hit the green, what is the median proximity difference to the hole in feet? So of course, we are talking about greens hit, but then we are also talking about, Francisco says hello. Hello, Francisco. Behind the question, the chat is behind there. So guys, get on the old, yeah, there you go. So what is the median proximity difference to the hole in feet between the scratch and the handicap golfer? So this is when they hit the green. So we already know that the 15 handicap hits it less often, but when they do, because they're closer, does it mean one of them is closer? So that's why I said, whatever you think the differences are, pop whatever you think the difference between them is. Is the scratch or 15 handicap actually physically closer in proximity, median proximity to the hole? And obviously by how much, etc. So if you think, that's why I said, I think it was, if you think the 15 handicap's 100 feet away and the scratch is 2 feet away, obviously that's not the answer. But then you'd say obviously 98 feet difference, some scratch is closer. That's the idea. Barry's, I will pop that up on the screen there because Barry is funny. There you go. I'll tell you what I'll do is if I can get on there very quickly and then make it bigger. I'll have to do it on here. There you go. Mine was a guess, I promise. Yeah. So unfortunately, JK Betton, hello, hope you're well. You're a bit late when it comes to it, although you've done well for the first one. The whole idea, we're doing a competition. So for the people who don't already know, and are obviously watching this for the first time, we're doing a competition. And it's even J. Jeff, hello, hope everyone is well. And we're doing a competition. So basically the winner of each one of these episodes is a hole of golf. So the 18 holes, and over a round, who wins the most points, like a Stableford kind of idea. And whoever wins basically wins themselves a free custom fit set of irons from Sub 70 or 11 Golf of their choice. So there you go, which is a bit of fun. And we also learn a little bit at the same time. That's the whole idea of it. So we are on hole 11, so we're already over halfway. We've still got 35 points still on offer, so we'll get to that one in a second. But now we've made the chat a little bit bigger, we'll go to the answer to question 2. Very, very quickly, we'll just get the question back up there. So the answer to the question, let's just go on here, was 19.2 feet. And as everyone guessed, the scratch was closer by 19.2 feet. So not only do they hit the green 24% more of the time, they are nearly 20 feet closer to the pin, median proximity. And so scratch golfers compared to a 15 handicap golfer are really good. And this is where some of the answers that we were getting saying that the difference between the scratch golfer and the 15 handicap golfer were like really small. People were thinking there's actually not that much difference between them. There is. And so when you hit a shot and you're a 15 handicap golfer and you've got this unrealistic expectation, there you go, get the words out today. So when you've got that unrealistic expectation of how far you should hit it to the pin, and you hit it at a certain distance, you're on the green, which is a win. When you're a 15 handicap golfer and you're hitting with an 8 iron from the fairway, and you hit the green, you are winning already. You are strokes gaining already, regardless of your proximity. But then you leave yourself a certain amount of distance, and you think it's a bad shot. Get yourself down, bit of negativity, that kind of then sits in the back of the head. Oh, I should have got too close at the pin, hit the green, but I've got a massive putt. Oh, I'm going to 3-putt now and all this lot. And it just keeps on going. Give yourself a break. You are hitting some really good shots. So a scratch handicap golfer with an 8 iron, which is 17, 18 yards further back down the fairway than you, is 24% more likely to hit the green. And when you do hit the green, they are nearly 20 feet closer to the hole, median proximity. There you go. JK Benton says, didn't know there was a prize. Oh well, love your channel, by the way. The most logical approach to golf I have seen out there. Every video is great food for thought. I'll tell you what, I'll pop that off there. Hang on a minute, and pop that one off there as well, because I want to, where's my little thing? There it is. I want to give that some hearts. Thank you, JK Benton. Appreciate it very much so. Always nice to have nice feedback like that. So, right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty of the whole thing, and it's to do with the leaderboard. Now, when I did the question episode, was it just over 2 days ago? Well, two days and some odd hours ago. I did say I was going to leave it for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days before I would then have the answer video. And so this morning I popped out a post, a community post, to try and capture as many people's attention as I possibly could do, because I still had people that hadn't as yet answered. And then it got to about midday UK time, or in around that time, I popped another post out there, really trying to get people's attention. This time posting a picture with it, because I'm really trying to give every single person the opportunity to be able to input. Now, I appreciate, obviously, everyone's got work, everyone's got family, everything's like that. It's not all just YouTube. So that's why I leave it a few days, 2 or 3 days, between the question and the answer, to give people a chance to keep an eye on the channel, make sure they've got the notifications turned on, so they go get a notification that the question video has been posted. Again, we are hole 11. We are already quite a way down. So people that have already joined in and have been joining in for like 10 others so far, obviously know that it's going on. But let's cut to the chase. Last week, we had the leader, which was Ice Tray 2468, and has been leading for quite some time. Stretched out his lead for a certain while, and then was starting to be pinned back. And then last week we had a little bit of a change. However, what's happened over the last few days is that obviously the question was being posed. Lots and lots of people gave their answers, and unfortunately, Ice Tray 2468 did not post an answer, even though obviously I've given 2 posts out to give everyone the best opportunity as possible. We have a new leader. Neil Zackelson is at 48, William Hartman's at 44, and Ice Tray at 43. Okay, he's only 5 points behind. And all of these people are not really that far. You can see it doesn't take long before people either are busy, forget, because then they don't look at it, or whatever reason, they don't do it, and it doesn't take long to go up the leaderboard. Any one of these people that are on 4 points, so again, generally speaking, the people are on 4 points and 3 points, as you can see here, they only involve themselves for 1 episode, because for every episode you can score a maximum of 5 points, and so obviously it doesn't take long to shoot up the old leaderboard if you do some consistent answers. But you can see that now we have a new leaderboard. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a few spaces there. We've still got A Special K, Peter Major, Steve, we got user, Aaron, Francisco, T9, well done. Ian Plummer, and yeah, Harry, yeah, so they're all doing very well. Anyone really, even at mid-range, even at 15 points, doesn't take long when you start really getting the answers going and you get the leaders don't input for whatever reason, and before you know it, you are firmly in the mix. It's a bit of fun. Oh man, I am platooning on 9th. It's fine. You can see, Francisco, it's fine. You can see how people can move up and down the leaderboard subject to what their answers are, and also subject to if they involve themselves. If you get involved, if you were to have started on episode 1 and did nothing for the whole of the 18, never bothered to even find out what the answers are, and you just put 1. That was your answer, 1. Everyone who inputs gets 1 point straight away. Doesn't matter how weirdly wacko the answers are. 4 billion, you get a point. You've just answered. So that's the whole idea of it. Francisco says, I am loving it though. It's a bit of fun though, and that's the whole idea. Whole idea, if it's fun, and it is, there is a serious point to it. It's not, from my side, the serious point is actually nothing to do with the competition of the free custom fit set of irons. That's not the fun thing for me. The fun thing for me is people are, if they get involved in this, it's having the opportunity for them to go and research out there, go and find the answers, and what they're doing is they're subconsciously learning. Every single time they find something which is not quite right, read through it, yeah, that's not quite the information on there, try somewhere else. They're always learning. However much seeps into their brain, they're always learning. And if you keep the topics changing around, driving, short game, putting, approach play, all these different things, hopefully, and this is the whole, I'm doing this on the hopefully bit, X amount will seep in and people will start making better decisions. They know, I think if I remember 15 handicap, like something like 6 yards away from the green in the rough, in the greenside rough, 19% of their chips don't make the putting surface. So when you're a 15 handicapper and 1/5 of your shots don't make the putt and you're chipping twice, there you go. There's a one heck of a win straight away. But yeah, I mean, how many times they miss a green? I mean, if you go by from that, I mean, if they're going 37% and they've got 8 irons in all the time, they're missing 2/3 of the greens. That means that potentially they've got 12, at least 11 or 12 potential shots with chips, which then 1/5 of them, I mean, that's a couple of shots straight away. But there you go. Thanks for the reminder, was driving Paul. And yes, there's a whole idea of putting posts out there so I can try and just capture as many people as possible. But there you go. So there you go. It was well done to everybody who joined on that one. Francisco's enjoying this. Thanks for this series. No problem, Francisco. It takes a lot of time. It does. Collating all the answers, pulling all the comments from the videos, the live video which I post initially, like this, the live, and then also I do a repeat. So I basically copy the live stream and then repost it on my channel, just to try and give even more opportunity for people to capture that question, so they can then do it. So there's like 2 videos of the question that goes out, and I do the same thing with the answers as well. I repost it on there. Looking at a new set of irons and your videos on loft versus swing speed has been fascinating. Also had no idea scratch golf is only hitting greens 24% more. Yeah, I mean, I look at it like, I mean, 24% more from 20 yards nearly further back is a big amount, is a large amount. I mean, a scratch handicapper compared to a 15 handicapper is really very, very good. This is why I think, if anything, 15 handicappers and just handicap golfers in general, they have massively unrealistic expectations of what they should be doing on the golf course. And it's absolutely, completely and utterly not even true, not even close. People need to give themselves a little bit more, I'd say leeway, but they need to give themselves a bit more credit. It would make them feel better on the golf course. It would have their brains in a much, much more positive and less negative spiral, because especially if you have unrealistic expectations, you do something which you think you should be doing better at, of which actually the shot you hit, your shot's gaining at your handicap. Again, unrealistic expectations. You get yourself like that, and then you start that downward spiral. It goes worse and worse and worse. In fact, if you were to look at how, okay, everyone's game's different, but again, you are talking about a lot of potential shots that people are wasting out there on the basis of such things. Very encouraging. Good. It's the whole idea. Right, so do we have to answer in both videos? No. So, Francisco, all you have to do when it comes to, say, the live video, I'll do the live video and there'll be the chat running. I always have the chat going anyway, for just in case people are on when it comes to questions and they have any queries whatsoever about the questions which I pose. I pop it on there and then I basically just invite people, say, look, I'm on now for the next couple of minutes, read the questions. If you've got any queries whatsoever, any clarification from anything, literally just post that. I will answer it live as such, no problem. And sometimes people will put answers up and down here, which is fine, no problem whatsoever, absolutely fine. But I ask them to duplicate from their answer from the chat into the comment below when the video goes off of live, because you can't, I don't think you can post comments. I think you might be able to, you never know. You might, I don't think if you can post comments while the video is live, but you can post on chat. But as soon as the video is finished live, the comment section goes live. So that's all I bit, just to copy it in there. And of course, if you're watching this or watching the question on the repeat that I do as a normal format video, non-live, comment section down there straight away. Perry says, I go to pot every time I've got a card in my hand. Good advice. Yeah, that's an interesting one, that. There are, so for people like you, Perry, then what would, I would suggest that you need in your practice, what it is affecting emotional stress. That's what's causing you to go to pots. So emotional stress obviously has the effect on your muscles and your brain thought patterns and stuff like that. And so what you need to do much, much more of is change your practice regime to be a much more stressful situation, so it means more to you. And it could be something as crazy as if your problem is putting, let's say your problem is putting, and you've got facility where you are to go hit shots with driver and then go on the practice putting green, and then what you have to do is you find yourself on the practice putting green, normally 3-foot putts, no problem whatsoever, put them in, no problem. Get on the golf course, when it means something, those 3-foot putts, your bum starts going 50p, 5p, 50p, 5p, and then you find that you'll miss them. And you think, what, how can I do this in practice? You make it into a situation where it's my card and it's like a proper competition, and I'm just goes to pot. So what you need to do is you need to sort of make it more stressful. And so you can do something like as simple as, if you find that you're really decent with your driving, let's say, and yeah, so you go to your practice ground, you set yourself a target, left, right, whatever distance that you want to set and whatever markers you have. You hit 5 drives, 10 drives, doesn't matter, in between those things. And then you go to the putting green, and you put 2 putts or 3 putts down at 3 feet, but they've got to be around the clock, not 3 putts from the same spot. So if you've got a slight break in it, it's not the same break. And you have to putt in those 3. Once you've done those 3, cool, you can go home, no problem. If you miss one, you've got to go back to the driving range, hit those shots again within those boundaries. Hit those boundaries, go back to the putting green. You're not allowed to go home until you've done your boundary shots and you've got those 3 putts in. Now that might be a bit cruel, but one thing it really does is it gets your brain instantly thinking about a stressful, and it gets you used to what you're doing. And so there is a massive void normally between people's practice and people's actual, because they cannot replicate what that does. The brain feels anxiety. If you can get used to feeling anxiety and the pressure as such of what you're doing, and then you can take away the non-realistic use of practice, do something like that, there you go. Perry said the wife will be pleased, she thinks I'm in the bar. Yeah, I wish 19th hole, that would be. Or you could do it that way. You're not allowed in the bar to have your drink until you've done that. Whatever. I mean, that's just an example I can think of off the top of my head that you can really make things a little bit more stressful, so you can actually bring your stress levels down on the golf course, because if you're more used to dealing with that and practicing within that same level, or at least heightened level of stress during your practice, your actual becomes, well, you're more used to it. So it won't have as much effect. Put it that way. Right, so how long have we been going on for? Because I'm keen, obviously, for allowing people to, well, go home. Well, they might be home already. What's the time? So it's been going on for half an hour already, nearly 25 minutes. Right, that's enough. Before people get bored. Right, well done to every single person that joined in on for episode 11. Episode 12 will be coming very, very soon. I'm hoping to get Tip taken on board. You're welcome. Again, we can talk about that, Perry. You remember, we'll talk about that Monday on our members only live stream. If you want, I've got some more ideas, and of course you can ask the other members as well. They're a great knowledge base for them. If you ask them as well, and they can give you their opinion about what they do, and there might be some wonderful little nuggets of lovely information in there for you to glean. Again, if anyone wants to become a member of the Ask Golf Nut channel, is always appreciated. You can go onto my homepage, or literally should be just underneath. There's a join button, and if you click on that, there's a list of different ideas, different options. There's no obligation whatsoever. That if you don't have to join whatsoever. If you want to stay as a normal subscriber, you can be involved in the monthly live streams that I do. The first Monday of every month is open all access for the subscribers, and then when it comes to the members, they get weekly live streams where we look a little bit more in depth. We look about obviously techie questions like Perry's got here. I've got a question on shaft weights, lovely, and then we've got some sort of behind the scenes stuff, some product which is coming out soon, sneaky peeks, that kind of idea as members for a bit of fun. Right, guys, thank you very much as always. Perry, I'll catch you next Monday for the live stream. I look forward to answering your question on shaft weights, and then we will catch everyone again. Tomorrow is the ST Max Hybrid review. I've still got to finish the last bits of editing, but it should be up for tomorrow afternoon, no problem. And then I plan to do the 223 versus 243. And then, as you can see, wrong way, over there, yeah, I've still got a load of Cleveland stuff. A load of Cleveland stuff that I need to do. I've also, where is it? It's over there as well. I've also got a Wilson staff wedge come through today, which looks very, very nice indeed. But right, guys, hope you're well. Thank you very much for joining. Well done for everyone who joined in for hole 11. Look forward to seeing everybody for hole 12. Take care. Catch you soon.